At the edge of the desert, where mountains plunge abruptly into the sea, the ruins of a forgotten port still whisper of ships that once sailed to the far ends of the known world. Along the northern coast of the Persian Gulf lie the remains of Siraf, one of the most remarkable maritime cities of the early Islamic era. Located in present-day Iran, Siraf flourished between the 3rd and 10th centuries CE as a commercial hub linking the Middle East with India, East Africa, and China. Today, the site appears quiet and windswept, its stone foundations scattered across a narrow coastal plain. Yet beneath these modest ruins lies the archaeological memory of a city that once thrived at the center of the Indian Ocean trading world. Imagine standing in a harbor where merchants from Africa, Arabia, Persia, and China once negotiated fortunes in the shadow of anchored ships. At its height, Siraf functioned as a vibrant gateway between the Abbasid Caliphate and distant maritime markets. Historical records describe fleets departing seasonally with the monsoon winds, carrying textiles, ceramics, spices, pearls, and precious metals across vast distances. Archaeological excavations support these accounts with remarkable clarity. Imported Tang Dynasty porcelain, Indian ceramics, African trade goods, and fragments of glassware from the Mediterranean have all been recovered from the site. Each artifact reflects a node within an extensive network of exchange that stretched across the Indian Ocean basin. Beneath the rocky slopes overlooking the harbor lies evidence of a city built on extraordinary wealth. Excavations conducted in the 20th century revealed large residential compounds carved into terraces along the surrounding hillsides. These homes often contained multiple rooms arranged around courtyards, suggesting that Siraf's merchant families possessed considerable resources. Decorative plasterwork, carved stone thresholds, and imported ceramics indicate that many residents enjoyed a lifestyle far more affluent than that of typical medieval coastal settlements. The archaeological record thus portrays Siraf not merely as a trading port, but as a prosperous urban society shaped by maritime commerce. What made Siraf unique was its position within a vast oceanic highway of trade. Ships departing from this harbor followed routes that connected the Persian Gulf with the western coast of India, the ports of East Africa, and the markets of Southeast Asia. Written sources mention voyages from Siraf to the thriving Chinese port of Guangzhou, demonstrating the astonishing reach of these merchants. Archaeological discoveries mirror these textual accounts. Chinese ceramics, Indian beads, and Southeast Asian pottery fragments appear regularly within the excavation layers. These finds illustrate how Siraf participated in one of the earliest truly global commercial systems. The geography that protected Siraf's harbor also confined it within a fragile landscape. The city was squeezed between steep mountains and the narrow coastline of the Persian Gulf. This limited space forced residents to construct terraces and stepped neighborhoods along the slopes. While the mountains shielded the harbor from strong winds, they also created a precarious environment susceptible to landslides and seismic activity. Archaeologists examining structural remains have noted architectural adaptations intended to stabilize buildings against the unstable terrain. For centuries, the prosperity of Siraf seemed almost unstoppable. During the early Islamic period, the city grew rapidly as trade intensified across the Indian Ocean. Warehouses lined the waterfront, mosques served the growing population, and merchants accumulated fortunes that rivaled those of inland commercial elites. Archaeological surveys reveal a dense urban layout with marketplaces, residential districts, and cemeteries extending along the coastline. The diversity of artifacts uncovered suggests a multicultural population drawn from across the trading world. Then, in the year 977, the ground beneath Siraf shifted with catastrophic force. Historical sources describe a devastating earthquake that struck the region, collapsing buildings and severely damaging the harbor infrastructure. Archaeological layers within the site contain clear evidence of this disaster. Collapsed walls, shattered ceramics trapped beneath rubble, and abrupt abandonment horizons. These destruction deposits mark a turning point in the city's history. The earthquake did not erase Siraf instantly, but it disrupted the delicate economic system that had sustained the port for centuries. Disasters often preserve moments of everyday life in astonishing detail. Within the rubble layers of Siraf, archaeologists have discovered domestic objects frozen in place at the moment of collapse. Cooking vessels remain scattered across kitchen floors. Storage jars lie broken beneath fallen beams, and fragments of personal ornaments appear among the debris. Such discoveries provide rare insight into the daily routines of the city's inhabitants shortly before the catastrophe. Even before the earthquake, subtle shifts were already reshaping regional trade networks. Rival ports were emerging elsewhere along the Persian Gulf, attracting merchants seeking safer harbors and new opportunities. Political changes within the Abbasid world also altered commercial dynamics. When the earthquake struck Siraf, these underlying pressures amplified its impact. Trade gradually migrated to other centers, leaving the once prosperous harbor increasingly marginalized. The decline of Siraf unfolded slowly, like the receding tide after a storm. Some residents attempted to rebuild damaged structures, and limited occupation continued for a time. However, the city never fully regained its former prominence. Archaeological evidence indicates decreasing population levels, reduced construction activity, and shrinking trade volumes in the decades following the earthquake. Eventually, the great port that once linked continents faded into relative obscurity. Yet the ruins that remain today offer one of the richest archaeological archives of medieval maritime commerce. Excavations have uncovered mosques, merchant houses, warehouses, and elaborate cemeteries carved into the surrounding hills. The rock-cut tombs overlooking the city form one of Siraf's most striking features, reflecting the social hierarchy and wealth of its inhabitants. These burial landscapes provide important clues about religious practices and cultural identity within the cosmopolitan trading community. Few archaeological sites illustrate the interconnectedness of the medieval world as vividly as Siraf. The diversity of artifacts recovered from the site demonstrates how goods, ideas, and technologies moved across oceans long before the modern era. Ceramics from China, beads from India, glassware from the Mediterranean, and local Persian crafts all appear together within the same stratigraphic layers. Such evidence highlights the role of maritime trade in shaping cultural exchange across vast distances. Today, the ruins stand quietly along the Persian Gulf, their stones slowly weathered by wind and salt air. Archaeologists continue to study the site in order to reconstruct the urban layout and trading networks that once defined the city. Each excavation adds another fragment to the story of Siraf, revealing how geography, commerce, and human ambition combined to create one of the most remarkable ports of the early Islamic world. Perhaps the most compelling lesson of Siraf lies in its sudden transformation from global hub to silent ruin. For centuries, the city prospered at the intersection of trade routes connecting Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. Yet a single earthquake, combined with shifting economic currents, altered its destiny forever. Today, Siraf remains an archaeological reminder that even the greatest centers of commerce can disappear when the balance between nature and human enterprise is broken. And so the quiet coastline of southern Iran preserves more than ruins. It preserves the memory of a maritime world once alive with sails and voices from distant lands. Through archaeology, the story of Siraf continues to emerge from beneath the soil, allowing us to glimpse the vibrant port that once stood at the crossroads of the Indian Ocean.
The treasure is revealed, not gold, but the history itself. This is the true wealth.